What is the most inoffensive thing you've seen someone get offended by? One time someone got offended when I put on my seatbelt, thought I was commenting on her ability to drive. Same thing happened to me, the Uber driver said. Do you wear your seatbelt when you're with your dad? I said yes. I don't know. He died in a tragic car accident when I was 5 and all my seatbelt memories are repressed. What of it? While working tech support back during the dot-com boom, I had a customer get upset with me over the use of the word icon. He said it had religious implications and he insisted I call Windows icons little picture things. Off topic, but this reminds me of my 4-year-old niece who calls commercials skip ads. I got in trouble in kindergarten for saying the word dead. Apparently it was too violent. When I was a child, my mum paid for something with a check. The cashier remarked that my mum had nice handwriting. My mum flew off the handle, and we had to storm out of the shop in outrage. To this day, I have no idea what happened. I will not be able to sleep tonight until I know what this is about. Maybe it brought up sore feelings from when she failed the doctor entrance exams. Had someone get offended by me calling my brother bro. They insisted that I was racist and that white people can't be related to Mexicans. Like seriously, lady, that's not how genetics work. We are 100% related and are a mix of white and Native American. It's not that unheard of for one biological sibling to come out lighter or darker than the other. And even if we weren't related, seriously? I'm racist for calling someone close to me my bro despite being different skin tones? Seriously? I had someone scoff and ask me how I, a white person, have a Latina cousin. It's like they don't realize two people of different races can have kids together. At my wedding we marked the vegetarian items as vegetarian. This made the one vegetarian at my wedding, sister-in-law who hates me, fly into a catatonic rage because we are singling out the vegetarian food as vegetarian and not treating it as normal food. Then how the fuck are they supposed to know it's vegetarian? I had a stranger get upset because I covered my ears when emergency vehicles went by. He said I was showing disrespect or something. Fuck that, those sirens are loud. Years ago, a woman came into my work and bought a black stove. The guys take the box up there to her, and she flips the fuck out because the box said Negro on it. Everyone tried explaining to her that it was the Spanish word for black, but she left there saying we were all racists. A sandwich. I kid you not. My ex-husband was given a sandwich by our then 13-year-old daughter, and because she cut the sandwich, he went off on a massive strop about how his sandwiches should never be cut, etc. The poor kid's face, she was crushed. It still winds me up and every time I think about it. I thought my soon-to-be ex-husband was the only a-hole who did this. When we first moved in together, it was my job to make his lunches. I made him a sandwich and cut it in half, and he flipped on me that he wasn't a child, and his co-workers would make fun of him. Like seriously? It's a sandwich. That sucks. My youngest isn't allowed to use sharp knives, so when he made me a sandwich, he tore it in half. It was still a great sandwich. I saw a video. The Afro-American council member got offended in a council meeting because someone used the term black hole. That was John Wiley Price, a longtime Dallas City Council member. If I remember correctly, they were asking him why all the paperwork in his department kept disappearing. So he starts throwing a fit about why does everything bad have to be black, like black sheep, devil's food cake, etc. And of course he never did answer where all the paperwork was going. This is within a year after the DDT repeal. Part of the repeal was that, obviously, you can't make fun of people for their sexual preference. So calling people gay was out. Was getting directions to a co-worker's house. He lived on Gay Street. Our supervisor got belligerent about how we can't say that, even after explaining how it was the street name. I love that his takeaway from "don't make fun of people for being gay" was "don't even say the word gay, that's some Michael Scott shit." I have a relative who's named Gay, trying to explain to people at the height of "that's gay" that my relative is actually named Gay, so when I say her name is Gay, I wasn't insulting. Her name was borderline impossible. Her name's Gay, dude, that's offensive. Meanwhile, with gay people, her name is Gay, that's amazing. I once listened to my boss try to lecture the fire marshal because he was talking about something being flame retardant. Her reasoning was you should just call it fireproof because retardant was an awful word. It was one of those times where I really should have tried to stop her, but instead I just stood off to the side, probably making a surprised Pikachu face. I got an angry call from a client at the vet hospital I used to work at. She was angry that the doctor had written in her dog's chart something along the lines of, "Chemotherapy has retarded the growth of the tumor." She was deeply offended that the vet called her dog retarded. "Ma'am, your dog isn't retarded, you are." Ha! The funniest misunderstanding I've ever witnessed with a client was an older woman who came in for a recheck of her dog and said the antibiotics we gave her weren't working and were too difficult for her to administer. Turns out, she misunderstood the directions on the bottle. Give 2 capsules orally every 12 hours, and had been shoving them up her dog's ass. She got mad when the vet said, "Ma'am, have you ever been married?" Maybe 22 years ago, I had a phone interview with a baking company. I didn't care to have my peers know what I was up to, so I took the call on my cell phone in my car. The call was crystal clear and no technical issues. At one point, they had mentioned the weather and asked how it was where I was. I told him that I was sitting in my car and I could see that it was actively snowing. The interviewer asked me, "Are you taking this call on a cell phone?" I told him I was. Then he asked me if I thought that was appropriate. I asked him what he meant by that. He said he thought it was kind of rude to take a formal call on a cell phone. I told him I would be more than happy to conclude the interview if talking on a cell phone was an issue. If he was interested, I'd be happy to continue it the next day when I'd be at a desk. He again repeated how rude he thought it was that I had called from a cell phone and that there was no need to continue the interview process. I disagreed with the first point but did agree with the second. To this day, I wonder what the hell he was talking about and where he was coming from. Probably just got over the fact that telephones exist and wasn't ready to accept the fact that mobile phones aren't a thing made by the devil. Wonder if this guy is also out there now, convinced the 5G gives you the Rona. I was at the vet with my cat and he sneezed. This was apparently very offensive to an elder woman. She was there with a corgi, and she started screaming at me for about 30 minutes about pet hygiene. "Sorry, I've been trying to teach him to sneeze into his hanky, but you know how cats are." I'm sure her dog has done a lot worse in public. I am a disabled person. My life sucks because of my disability, and no longer being able to do the things I used to love makes me quite depressed sometimes. Some asshole tried to lecture me about how I was ableist for wishing there was a cure for my disability. Fuck me for not enjoying being in constant pain and possibly ending up in a wheelchair in the future, I guess. I worked at a restaurant, and we put up some Halloween decorations. We had to take them all down when someone found the glittery skull decoration offensive. Similar situation happened to me. I'm a nurse at a children's hospital. I was wearing Mickey Mouse Halloween scrubs which have little dancing skeletons on it. A visitor for one of my patients complained that I was wearing scary and inappropriate scrubs. I think the best part about that being scary is we all literally have skeletons inside of us right now. The Canadian flag told me that if they put up a Canadian flag in PA, the neighbors would come and shoot everybody. Not quite sure about the logic on that one. Some people are weird when it comes to flags. I live in a mostly Hispanic part of New York. You can't drive by a house without seeing a Puerto Rican flag or a few American ones. One time an Asian family moved here and put up a flag that had Buddha on it. A bunch of people bitched, and Buddha was taken down. Apparently Buddha is racist. This guy at a Halloween party I was at was dressed in a giant bacon costume. Some girl was yelling at him for being so offensive toward Jews and Muslims. She was neither Jewish nor Muslim. One of the Muslim guys at the party asked her what the fuck she was talking about, but she didn't back down. Reminds me of a news story I saw a while ago. A Muslim family moved to a mostly white town. The white people decided it would help them feel more welcome if they removed every book from the library that had anything to do with pigs or bacon. I guess just because you can't eat it you shouldn't see it or read about it either. When I worked in customer service. Yes, ma'am. Don't you ma'am me. Don't you fucking ma'am me, you piece of shit. Okay, sir. People get very offended that I don't like being touched. Using a walking stick. I was in a car accident a few years ago, and it fucked my leg up. Since then I've been using a walking stick. I was walking to shop, pre-pandemic, and an old bloke gave me the dirtiest look I've ever seen. "What do you need a cane for? You're only a kid." Tell him the car crash didn't ask for your ID first. What is the most inoffensive thing you've seen someone get offended by? Leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.